Hey guys, Nicole here with Obscure Reptiles and Caging, and today we're going to be talking about how to know when your female ball python is large enough to breed. So let's get started. Hey guys, so today we are talking specifically about female ball pythons. We did a video like this a while ago on male ball pythons, when to know when they were ready. And today we are going to go over specifically female ball pythons. So if you guys look online, there are a ton of different opinions from a ton of different people. So I'm going to give you my best opinion on everything I have learned in the last 10 years of breeding ball pythons. There really specifically isn't, unfortunately, an exact set number, set age, set weight of all of these females. Every female is going to be different, and we're going to break down how they can be different and how to know when that female is actually going to be ready for you. So first we'll start off with the age of your ball python. You want a minimum of a 3 to 5 year old ball python. People always say in this field that bigger isn't always better, but also older isn't always better versus young. You want a female that can sustain having the eggs. You want a female that is going to be able to pass the eggs successfully. She's not going to be injured by doing it. She's not going to be so weak that she can't push them out. So you don't want something that is too young, and you don't want something that is way too old. If you look online, there's a huge range between people saying that a female can breed at 1,200 grams, 1,500 grams, 1,750, 2,000 grams. I personally, for a minimum, unless my female is about 1,800 or up, I really don't want to breed that girl. When you breed a smaller female, to put in perspective, generally you're only going to get, let's say, a 3 to 4 egg clutch out of anything between 1,200 and 1,700 for a female. That's about average, at least for me in my experience. If you're breeding her and she's on the smaller side and she gives you a small clutch, now she not only has to have that clutch of eggs, hopefully they all come out of her, because if they're too small, too weak, they can't actually get them out. They become egg bound and they have to get surgeries, or you'll lose that female. So by having a female who is on the smaller side, has a very small clutch of eggs, generally the next year she's going to give you another small clutch, because it only is, let's say, 40 to 50 weeks from when she has her eggs for her to be able to recuperate. Plus, sometimes it takes females a little bit of time to start eating again. And then sometimes when they actually breed, they don't want to eat either. So you want them to get a certain amount of meals between eggs and the next time they're going to be having eggs. And unfortunately, some females are a little bit more picky afterwards. Some are ravenous, but some will start missing more meals, or there's no control over a super ravenous female who never skips a meal, has eggs, and now she's kind of picky, so she doesn't gain any more weight. She's still around that same exact, let's say, 1,500 gram mark the next season, so you can expect another small clutch. But if you waited one more season and got that female 1,800, 2,000 grams, you don't want her fat. You just want her to be a very nice, good size. You don't want her to be turning sideways and having rolls. You want her to be able to continue to grow at a standard rate. You don't want to power feed. You don't want to overfeed. You don't want to underfeed. You want to maintain a good body weight on that female and feed her every 7 days. And if she's going through shed, generally females won't eat anyway, but you want that snake to be in a good body condition in order to have a really good clutch of eggs for you. A lot of my females that I weight to, let's say, 1,800 grams, they end up giving me 8 to 10 eggs for their first clutch. And then after that, they continue on that route, or they give me even larger clutches in the seasons to come. But I do have 2 females that I bred around 1,500 grams, and in the last 4 seasons, they are a little bit larger than that. Now they're around the 2,000 gram mark, but they still only ever give me about 4 to 6 eggs per season. But all the other females that I held back that extra 200-300 grams before breeding, those females I get a lot larger clutches from. Another big thing is how your female holds her weight. Some ball pythons grow like twigs and they get very long, but they stay very slim. They never miss meals, but they just look more like, let's say, corn snake body type. They just keep growing in length. Sooner or later they will stop and they will start to fill out more. So generally those type of females I do not like to breed until they have a certain look about them and a certain amount of thickness, because if you breed something that's thin, then generally, because they don't have all the extra storage, they go off feed and they have nothing, no nutrients for their body. You're going to get very small clutches, or once the female does have her eggs, she's very, very skinny, and that is not what we want. Other ball python females are a little bit shorter and they are a little bit stockier. Again, we don't want really overweight snakes. They shouldn't have any rolls when they're turning their head, but you want them to have a good body size. A big thing to consider personally is your female, you should know your snake, especially if you've had them since they were a baby, are they more picky and laid back, or are they very ferocious and they just love to feed? I love getting females who are super, I'll say, food aggressive. They're not really aggressive, they just really like to eat. They never skip meals. Sometimes, even in shed, they still will eat. They are ferocious appetite females. I love having snakes like that because when it's getting time to breed them, a lot of them will eat all the way up until, let's say, their pre-lay shed, and then they only go off food for 1 month. That is my favorite type of female, especially for breeding purposes. The females that are more laid back and more relaxed, those are really not the snakes that I personally want to breed, because if I start breeding that female because she's already picky, she decides not to eat anymore, I don't breed her anymore, but she still ends up having a clutch of eggs, but she's just, let's say, stops eating for like 3, 4, 5 months before that, you're going to have a very, very slim female with very small eggs, and I don't want to harm that female by breeding. I'd rather keep her and let her continue to grow until she's big enough and then breed. I'm not in it just to pop out eggs left and right. I'm in it for the entire process, the whole experience. I love all of the snakes that we have here. I don't want any of them to ever pass away due to breeding. I don't want them to become egg bound, have any kind of issues with all of it. Personally, I like females with a lot more attitude who want to eat really well because they tend to be much better breeders. Again, make sure that you are not overfeeding any of these animals so you can breed them. Let's say you want to breed them by 3 years old, 4 years old, you have it in your mind. But if that's a very laid back, picky snake or one that likes to go on food strikes, don't press it, give them another season. Or if it's a snake that just absolutely loves to eat, don't start overfeeding that animal, power feeding that animal just because you want to reach a goal that you have. These are animals. These are all going to be completely different. Every season is going to be completely different, especially per snake. So make sure you don't under or overfeed this animal just to be able to accomplish what it is that you would like to do. Just to show you guys a quick example, this is Morel. She was weighed 1 month ago and weighed 1,560 grams. So by almost every standard, she is big enough to breed. But if you could see, at 4 years old, she is incredibly long, but she is very slim, too slim for me to breed. I can reach my hand almost all the way around her, and every time she eats, she just keeps growing in length. She also gets very picky after winter for the first 2 or 3 months where we normally would start breeding everybody. So I made the decision before ever breeding her this year, because we start our season back in November. We are currently in end of June. We didn't breed her at all, even though she was over 1,500 way back then. So she's only gone up about 180 grams. So she's still slowly going up, but she gets very, very picky right after winter, and she eats very small meals. But she's still eating, she's still breeding size technically, but this is not the size of a female that I personally would want to breed. We've also got our albino pied female. We have bred her, she's about 9 or 10. This is our first season. We're giving her off because normally she has a very thick body and she doesn't like to skip meals, and for whatever reason, the same time that she went off food, when it was a little bit colder out, when it was still winter, she went off food. So we didn't end up breeding her either, and she maintained a smaller body size until right about now. She's maintained the smaller body size, kind of like this female. Actually, as of last month, she's really gotten a little bit bigger. She took the last 4 meals that we offered her, so she's starting to get a little bit thicker now, but it's too late in the season. We're not going to even bother trying to breed her. We gave her the season off. This girl, maybe next season, if she starts packing on the thickness, if she's done growing a little bit here in length, but this is not, personally, not the body size, even though she's the weight. Same with a couple other females that we have. We got Mango, who is a lot shorter and stockier, but she likes to also go off food from here and there, so I want her to be, again, even bigger than they're supposed to be based on breeding sizes, because she's just so slim. I don't want her to have these big eggs and then not be able to pass them because she just used too much of herself. Sooner or later she'll stop growing in length, and she will get a little bit thicker, and then that's what we'll breed her. So hopefully it's next season, and if it's not next season, then we'll wait for the year after that. Since she's right here, here is Mango, that other female. So she is shorter and she's definitely stockier, but she is 1,500 88 grams as of last month, sorry. And so she's definitely thicker. This is better. This is what I would want to do, but because she's still under that 1800 gram mark, we did not breed her. So back when we started breeding, she would have been around 1500 grams, and some people think, oh, okay, 1500 grams, they probably will go up in weight, and we'll start breeding them now, hoping they'll be of weight by the time they actually are going to breed the snake. But I think the opposite. What if they completely stop eating for the next 3 months? We've bred them. She's gonna have eggs if she decides she's gonna have eggs, and now she's way too skinny. So she should definitely be good for next season based on how thick she is now, based on how she's been doing. And technically she is as of weight also, but again, she's thicker than Morel, but nowhere near as long. They're actually the exact same age. She's not as long as Morel, but she's thicker. But hopefully when we go to actually breed her, or once we do decide, it will be when she's a bit fatter. Hopefully by showing you guys those two females, you get a little bit better of an understanding. Definitely want them to be a little bit thicker around, and again, it's based on age. Both of those are 4 years old, so that's a good size reference. One's a little shorter, one's longer. They were hatched a couple weeks apart. But that's it for this video. If you guys have any questions, you can put them in the comments below. If you haven't already, please subscribe. We do new videos every single week. See you guys in the next video.